Good evening, everyone. Myself Sanket Ghorpade. I am the technical head at IEEE SIES and I'll be your host for today's session. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow admirers of innovation and intellect, I am thrilled to welcome you to this remarkable webinar featuring a remarkable individual who has left an undeniable mark on the technology sector and beyond. Today, we have the privilege of delving into the deep insights and experiences of a creative dynamo, a trailblazer, and a visionary technologist who has redefined the boundaries of what's possible. Mr. Shivam Dumbre stands as an inspiration in a world where innovation is the key to progress. His journey has been nothing short of an extraordinary mark by an impressive list of achievements in literature, technology, and record-breaking feats. With two significant books to his name, he has not just been an author and a podcaster, but he is also a knowledge creator. His first book, Let's Make IT Simple, equips us with technical knowledge in an easily understandable manner, while Decoding Zindagi, it is a non-fictional masterpiece, delves into the complexity of life itself. These publications are available on well-known platforms, and this reflects his dedication to demystifying complex concepts of making knowledge accessible to all. But his brilliance extends beyond the written word. Mr. Shivam, a worldwide solar angel, has managed three Guinness World Records in collaboration with the esteemed IIT Bombay and Souls. His unwavering commitment to using technology for the betterment of society is evident through this achievement. Moreover, he has championed over open source technology through his thoughtfully curated OS Live session series on the tech platform, ensuring that knowledge is freely available to all. One aspect of his diverse journey is academic excellence. He has demonstrated that dedication and perseverance are the keys to success by securing first places in national and state level language exams, receiving multiple scholarships, and earning accolades. His influence also extends to the realm of corporate training, where he has conducted seminars for the Maharashtra government, sharing his knowledge and experience. Our guest speaker embodies the spirit of growth and adaptability in a culture that encourages learning from experiences. He adheres to a philosophy that resonates with all of us. Either we win or we learn. Prepared to share his insights and inspire us to reach new heights, he possesses a unique vision and a technological perspective. So, we are currently witnessing the convergence of knowledge, innovation, and passion. I warmly invite you to join us on this enlightening journey as we explore the remarkable achievements, inspiring story, and invaluable lessons of our esteemed speaker. As the session is about to commence, get ready to be captivated and inspired because it promises to be nothing short of a fantastic session. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for a wonderful introduction, Sanket, and it's a pleasure. Please feel free to ask any questions related to startup, related to entrepreneurship, and also career in IT because that has been my domain expertise. And I would love to take those questions live on the session. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Sir, we have prepared a questionnaire in which we'll be asking you some questions regarding your expertise.
Sure.
And after that, we'll also have a Q&A session in which the audience will ask you the questions regarding their queries.
All right.
So, sir, do you want to say something or should we start with the questionnaire?
We can get started with the questionnaire, I'll say. And in between, of course, wherever needed, I will be adding on more and more points to it. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Okay, sir. So I hope this will be a wonderful session. So we'll be starting with our first question.
Sure.
Okay, so your journey is incredibly diverse, ranging from writing books to managing Guinness World Records. What initially inspired you to explore such a wide array of fields, and how do they all tie together in your vision?
So let's start from the initial footsteps, okay? At the very beginning, I was very curious while watching a lot of animation stuff, which started in 2015 around. Like at that point of time, it was like gaining a lot of traction, like anime and stuff. So I used to see a lot of graphics coming up, and tools like Adobe and all were like very popular at that point of time. So it really gave me that I should learn this kind of a skill, and I was really passionate about video editing and stuff. So along with that, during my academics also, I had got a chance to like attend a lot of events, and in my like junior college, it really like gave me a good platform where I got a chance to like go to multiple colleges, right from IIT Bombay to Xavier's, and like name the institute, and I was there. And best part was that I used to be an attendee most of the times. Like I used to just go to those events, attend those events, understand how things work and how what is the thing that gets the best out of you. And in many of the competitions it was just a learning journey. I used to be an attendee. I saw so many people, so many incredible people sharing their experiences, trying out new and new ideas, and the dedication for fests. Like as you guys also must be involved into some festivals. I remember I had attended your innovations fest. So during those festival times, everyone is so intrigued into like creating creative stuff and like doing a lot of things. So this kind of spirit, this kind of passion was something that really drove me towards trying new and new ideas. And additionally, with my engineering background, and now I finished my MBA now right now into my doctoral research, at every point of time I realized that now it is very important not just to stick to old ideas but to bring those old ideas in a newer format. So that's how my journey has been. And at the very beginning when I started, so I used to edit small, like at that time we did not have much of tools, right? Like on mobile phones and all, and on the laptop and desktop also we had basic softwares. So during those days I came across open source technologies. Now open source technologies was like something which I had heard so many times but was not sure what is exactly all about. So during my very first internship, I got a chance to work upon different tech like PHP, you could say its frameworks, then CodeIgniter, Laravel frameworks. Additionally, I also got a chance to like be a support person to some training sessions. So at that point, I realized that, oh, there's so much of spectrum which I'm not even aware of, because I used to only use Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or max to max the tools that we used were like Paint and you could say Adobe Photoshop. But there is a vast spectrum of tools and tech which is available, and we are not aware about it because those tools exist but are not marketed well. Now when I found this gap, I made it a mission for my life that I should definitely work upon this particular aspect where I can make others aware, I can help others with these tools, how to use those tools. And I saw the spectrum so well. Like at that point of time I realized that for a creator like me, for an individual creator like me, if I am getting a tool named as GIMP, that is GNU Image Manipulation Program, and it is as good as Adobe Photoshop, it is saving me a lot of money, right? Just to not buy the Adobe license and just go to the GIMP license, because for initial level creators it is really important to get those kind of tools in your hand. Once you are familiar with the controls and all, then you can go for paid licenses, right? The same thing if you are familiar with Canva. So why is Canva very popular? Because it is very user friendly, and again secondly it gives you so many features even in the free tier, right? So this is the similar thing with open source. Like open source has so many tools but we are not aware about it. So Sanket, I would like to ask you, what is the office suite that you're using currently? Is it Microsoft Office or Google Slides, Google Sheets? How is it?
Yes, sir. I'm currently using Microsoft Office.
Exactly. So now Microsoft Office is if you go to the licenses subscription side, you would see there is a subscription fee associated with it. But in open source, there is a Office suite which is named as LibreOffice. Have you heard of it, LibreOffice?
Yes, sir. I have heard. I have also used it before.
Correct.
But after I through the Microsoft Office again.
Yes. So now you are probably knowing about LibreOffice, but many of our friends are not even aware that LibreOffice exists. And now you and me are from fortunate backgrounds, so we are happy to like go for Microsoft subscriptions. But just think about rural areas, or think about not those well-funded institutions where they're not able to fund their tools and all. Now at this point, if we utilize LibreOffice, those students can also learn, and secondly, the like expansion for learning can grow vast. Now this was just for rural areas. Take it to entrepreneurship. Now entrepreneurs at the very beginning feel that we don't have funds, how can we start, right? So at this point, if we give them a set of tools, a set of like technical tools, or you say automation tools, which can really save a lot of cost, save a lot of time, then they can really create wonders. So on this thought, I started with like my book, my mission towards training and development, and that's what Delta also resonates into. Yeah, thank you.
Sure, sir. I think it was a very extraordinary journey that you have like a very basic things, and you start with basics, and now you have become pro in this field. So I think it is very inspiring.
Thank you.
So now we will move to the next question.
Sure.
Sir, your philosophy of either we win or we learn, it is quite motivating, I say, but could you share a specific example from your career where you have turned a setback into a valuable learning experience?
Yeah, so like life has been long journey, and there were many such instances where I felt like I could not perform as expected. So a very good example was like every one of us, when we start about engineering, we think of, before in our 12th standards, we think about going to an IIT, right? So I also had that
Yes,
IIT
sir.
dream at that point of time, but I couldn't make it. That's what I could say. I cracked the mains exam, but I could not pass it out from the advanced. And later, engineering college happened, and all those stuff took place. But majorly the challenge for me, which I can like give you for that philosophy, is either we win or we learn. Is when like initially I used to go to these competitions, which I said right some time ago. So in my 11th and 12th standard, you could say till the mid of my 12th standard, I did not even win in one single competition. Initially I was just attending those, but later I started participating. I did not get a chance even to win a consolation prize at that point of time. But after my mid of 12th, like you could say half year passed in my 12th standard, I started like somehow getting second, first prizes, and then the journey towards victory started. So it was a good span of 1.5 year, when after my school journey, after my academic like you say school journey, I got a chance to enter this world, and I was like, oh my god, there are so many talented people, how will I survive? So at this point, when you see that there are incredible people out there, you start learning from them. So for those 18 months, you could say, down the line, there was no victory. So it was always a learning for me, and after that, somehow like the journey towards victory started to grow. So that's why I say like either we win or we learn. Yeah.
Sure, sir. That was a really great answer. Okay, so now we'll go on to your literature stuff that you have done, right?
Yeah.
So as an author, what's your writing process like, and how can you decide on the topics for your books? And what message or knowledge do you hope your readers take away from your writings?
Sure. So now I think I will have to answer it into two different aspects. One was decoding Zindagi, the very first experiment which I wanted to do. So as I said, in these competitions, when you go like at IIT Bombay and many other prestigious institutes, you see people performing so much, right? Like they come up on stage, they speak. So I also developed this habit of writing something. There was no chat GPT at that point of time, no Google Bard or no Bing AI or something. Okay. So at that point, we used to really like take diaries with us and like write. And it's just through 2-3 years down the line, before COVID, it was so good, like Mood Indigo and all these festivals, we had that chance to go and perform upon the stage. So I used to write a lot wherever I used to attend any seminars or sessions. My habit was always about noting down important points. You could say making your own notes. Now you might say, sir, this is very old fashioned, but no, it really works, because your muscle memory remembers when you write. Instead of just listening to something, you will miss it out, but if you start writing, it will really like stay somewhere down the line, and when you see it in your own handwriting, it really like reflects that, yeah, okay, I have written this, so it was important for some at some point or the other, right? So that was the very first aspect which I thought of like working upon. And like you said about how did I start into decoding, let's go to decoding Zindagi first. So poetries and something, singing, music really inspired me. I had my own band in my times, so we have performed at RCT and many other venues, and Launchpad and stuff. So that was the forte. I am a trained editor also, like video editing and stuff. Because I was more curious towards it, I started learning all those aspects technically. So at that point, like decoding Zindagi, like I had written a lot of blogs. So in those times, in 2017-18, I and some of my friends started a blogging community. Blogs, you know, right? Like we write blogs. And here the idea was every month we will write one blog, and that too with a group of friends. So for example, Sanket, Deepak, and many other in this, for example, are my friends. We all together will write on one single topic, and we will publish it on the same date, and let's see who gets the highest likes or views. That used to be a simple competition that we had at that point of time. So myself, along with my friends like Akshaya and all, we all started to write every month, and like this activity continued for 2 years. So during those times, whenever we used to write those blogs, now we had simple idea into our mind. If we are taking some reference, we have to mention the reference name. And if you're not, if you're doing something like your own creative stuff, then definitely this will remain on the web, and like you will have the credibility rights to it, right? So at those times, my thing was, I was into music and I started writing blogs. So I just mixed those two things, and I started writing poetries. These poetries come up into decoding Zindagi. So there are 10 diverse poetries on different aspects of life and stuff. because our topics were very simple, like we wrote on like beauty, we wrote on today, aaj, like as in today. Probably if we get a chance in this session, I will give you a small poetry by the end. But like this is how the topics were, like simple topics, festivals, offline, online, offline, like such kind of festivals which really make us think, reflect, that are we really living our lives. So this was the central idea. That's what is decoding zindagi. Like you are decoding your zindagi, you're decoding your life. Talking about let's make IT simple. Now this was a very interesting journey. My very you say dream project was let's make IT simple. But before doing that, I wasn't sure will I be able to do so many things at once, like design the cover page, then publish book, then create podcasts and stuff. So I really wanted to experiment on my home ground first. That's why I published Decoding Zindagi at the very beginning, and then I went on to let's make IT simple, because it is better to experience everything that you have to do before you go to the main field, right? So Decoding Zindagi was that kind of a approach, and let's make IT simple, on the other hand, as I said, my first internship since in 2018-19, I was working on open source, free software and all those stuff. So it really I was gathering a lot of notes. As I said, I have a bundle of notes. So I used to note this down. So sometimes, like if I find a resource which says that Pinta is a very good tool replacement to Paint, or if I hear LibreOffice or Ubuntu, I used to note down all these things. Now let's make IT simple right now has 2500 plus such resources in it. If you just see the book, it has 2500 plus such resources. Now just think about the magnanimity. And again, it is not just scattered anyhow. It actually has 30 distinct chapters. So if you go into the book, you will find like audio editing tools, video editing tools, then you go to graphics, then you go to like office tools, then you go to productivity, then you go to project management, team, everything. So what you would need to start up, what you would need to do something on your own, how can you benefit as a creator? I've given it a thought so well. And let's make IT simple also has the background. Like if you are aware about Richard Stallman, or like how open source and free software foundation started, so you would find there are so many good people who tried to do something with the community, for the community, but probably those efforts could not reach very like ahead of what they were aiming to. And I probably consider myself as a torchbearer of those particular efforts. Like I'm not a very big contributor, but at least I'm bearing that torch that yeah, open source has the potential. Ultimately, it's upon us whether this tool is really useful or not, because today's world demands efficiency. Today's world demands how you effectively you can produce results. But I'm not saying every open source or every free software is very capable of doing what your paid softwares are doing. But there are a lot many tools. I'm not saying every tool, but a lot many tools which are smart enough, which are capable enough of carrying out the tasks that your proprietary ones do. So that is the thought process, and that's how the thing has been. So both these books are like that. About the thought process, the idea is very simple. Tomorrow, if someone from a non-tech background also wants to read something, he can just read Let's Make IT Simple and understand the fundamentals, understand the basics, and then develop an understanding about open source and free software. About Decoding Zindagi, of course, it was poetries, but there also I've tried to like keep an English extract at the beginning, and then the poetries in Hindi. That's how the whole thing is. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That was a really great answer there. And you also discussed regarding the in the Let's Make IT Simple, you said that there are lots and lots of varieties of stuff that you can learn from, and also there are various chapters. So I think it is pretty easy to understand all the things that you have mentioned in the book. So I think I will read it once I'm done with the meeting.
Sure.
Okay, so the next question is, could you elaborate on your role as a worldwide solar angel and your contributions to setting Guinness World Records in collaboration with IIT Bombay and SOLS? And what was the most challenging aspect of these projects?
Yeah. So again, this thing was before COVID. In 2018 and 19, there was a good opportunity. IIT Bombay wanted to do some Guinness World Record projects under Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki, and this man is known as the Solar Man. And this guy is working upon developing solar projects across the globe. So this person had visualized how about building a solar lamp at different venues on the same day. So 2nd of October, that is Gandhi Jayanti, in 2018, the very first time we wanted to attempt this Guinness World Record. It was the first, the 3 Guinness World Records are broken into 2. The first Guinness World Record was set in 2018, and the 2 other records were set in 2019. Okay, so the very first Guinness World Record in 2018 was like we had to target and reach out to 1,50,000 students. That was the target. We could reach out to 1,35,000 students across India, and all of us on 2nd of October assembled a solar lamp. Okay, so I was one of those who reached out to the schools and colleges at that point, and I was operating at IIT Bombay, because at that point like reaching out to so many schools was becoming a very difficult task, and somewhere down the line with me and our team we could reach out to so many schools together in our localized Mumbai and vicinity, Mumbai, Pune and all. So that was the project in the very first 2018, when we say the initial footsteps. In 2018 we attained 1,35,000 students, and we did it together on 2nd of October. In 2019 again we thought of making it even bigger, so this time it was 2 Guinness World Records, two more Guinness World Records on the same day, that is 2nd of October 2019. But this time the target was 10 lakh, and 10 lakh people across the globe. So it was in around 70 countries as far as I remember, but you can see the specifics which I have on the articles, newspaper articles and all, which are published. And so out of 70 I think we managed to reach about 50 countries and so many people. So this humongous, this magnanimity, and because we were 1 year experienced at that point into solar stuff, so we got a chance to, like, as you say, like if you initially join as a junior developer, then you go to the senior and team lead levels. Similarly here in this project we could go to a senior position because we were already aligned with it since more than a year now. So that was how like these solar world records happened. And whoever, we had an examination, like I think there was some criteria and an examination which used to assess how we skilled and how well we have grasped the solar principles and all. So at that point whoever used to crack that certification used to be named as Solar Angel. So that's how Solar Angel thing works. And Solar Angel generally, like on the website, they used to have this unique number. So with those unique numbers we could like reach out to other Solar Angels across the globe and try to do work upon some solar projects. That was like the central idea of Solar Angel thing. Yeah.
Sure, sir. So using your ideas, you have also like enlightened the lives of the poor people and poor students who cannot afford this amenities. So I think that was a really great answer. So will next question is, so you have also mentioned about the open source technology. So it is very close to your heart. And how do you see open source solution impact the future of technology and innovation? And what advice do you have for those looking to get involved in the open source?
Okay, so firstly, Sanket, there is a misconception sometimes that we feel open source is free. It's not true all the times. Okay, there are two aspects to it. One is Free Software Foundation, the other is Open Source Initiative. These are two different organizations. Initially in 1983 it was Free Software Foundation that was started by Richard Stallman. This person advocates free software. Like he says that any software should be free, and if you have to charge, it can be for the maintenance of that software, but not the usage or price of the software. It should only about maintenance. That was the central idea with Richard Stallman's philosophy, and he advocated that there should be freedom to like use the software, like re-engineer the software, then develop the software again in your way and distribute the software. There are 4 freedoms: freedom 0, 1, 2 and 3 into free software's philosophy. Some people from free software and like other enthusiastic developers felt that this approach is not going to help because we will not be able to make money, and how will we survive? So that's when in 1998, from 1983 to 1998, some people dropped down and the open source initiative came into picture. This is the central idea. Okay, now open source says you can of course access the code, you can see this, but you can also commercially like utilize it. That is the central idea. Okay, so open source has also got some lists and you say rules, guidelines to abide with, but it is possible for you to like stick to open source principles and get it done. Okay, so your question was about like how can we use those open source tools, and is it really like feasible? Does it have a future, right? If I'm not wrong.
Sir, yes.
Yeah, like what are the primary tools that you use regularly?
I use Visual Studio Code a lot.
Okay.
Then I also use Microsoft Office Suite.
Okay.
And I also use AutoCAD sometimes.
Correct. VS Code also. Yes, Deepak. So
Yes, sir. VS Code is like mostly used by our engineering background students.
Correct. Now just do. I will not give you the complete answer so that you can be curious. You can just go to the source code
Okay.
of these particular tools. You go to any software tool, you would find C, C++, C sharp, then Java, Python, so many programming languages, right? If you go to the main
Yes,
root
sir.
from where are these, where do these all belong to, you would find the answer is open source. There are A to Z. If you take all alphabets, almost every alphabet is a language, a programming language, and that belongs to open source. That big is open source. So if I have to name, like, it is a whole land of different features. You could say it grows all kind of trees like Java or Python, C. Just imagine like that. It's a forest of so many outcomes. It has so much to offer. So that's open source. If you talk about the future of open source, so open source, yes, Amay, we'll come to a question in a minute. Yeah. So if you talk about the future of open source, you would find nowadays many of us are using these desktop apps or probably like these web apps, right? So if you see the frameworks that they are based upon, these are open source. Most of them are open source. Again, you see talk about these cross-platform applications. These are mostly built based on open source. If you want to have a virus-free kind of a system, you use operating systems like Ubuntu Linux, Kali Linux, if you have heard of, for ethical hacking and stuff. So all these things are open source. So the future of open source is for sure immense. If you really want to like deep dive into every single aspect, probably I have a series on this. You could just find it on my YouTube channel, where on every like aspect, right from productivity towards team, like managing your corporate world, to taking your skills towards editing and stuff. There are different aspects. If you talk about, if I have to give a very good example, have you heard of Disney Studios or Pixar Studios? These Disney,
No.
for example, Disney. Have you heard of Disney?
Yes, sir. I
Yeah,
heard about it.
Warner Brothers, like who create Batman and Superman movies. So
Yes, sir.
if you just Google, you will find that these studios also use one open source tool. Do you know the name by any chance?
No, sir.
It's Blender. Blender is used for like graphics and creative animation. So of course they have other tools in Unison, but they are also using Blender. There's also one very good tool in open source, that is DaVinci. Now in open source, as I said, it's not completely free, but most of the times it has a free version, a community version, and a proprietary version, a paid version. That's how the whole thing works in open source. Yeah,
Okay, sir. So now we'll move on to our next question.
sure.
So this is about the academics. Like our exams are coming also, and I think this will help us a lot. So you have excelled academically and secured numerous scholarship and honors. So what strategies have helped you maintain such a high level of achievement, and how do you balance academic pursuits with your other ventures?
Yeah, so see, one thing is learning is a lifelong journey. So you have to continue learning at any point. Right now, also, as I mentioned, I recently completed my master's from NMIMS, Narsi Monge Institute of Management Studies, and now currently I'm pursuing my doctorate of business administration. So soon I'll be Dr. Shubham Dumbre, trying to do that. And the aspiration behind learning is, it's not just for the titles actually, but it is actually towards building that base, building that kind of a thought process. Because when you meet such people, when you study with such people, when you regularly interact with such people, these people give you those 10 different ideas which probably you could not have thought if you were thinking alone. So that is one thing. As you said, like what can help us in academics, right? So we how I studied, I'll give you my example. Probably if you see, if you guys can do it, it is feasible. First thing, don't study just for marks. Study regularly. It's not just about like putting in 1 hour. You don't study for 4 5 hours a day. That's not possible at all in our today's disturbing mobile phone world. It's not possible at all. But at least if you dedicate some time towards practical application, for example, in our times we used to do a lot of practicals, and as far as I remember, I got more and more experiences in real like examinations rather than such kind of theoretical examinations. So for example, when we used to code something and we had some paper in our exam which was related to writing C++ or Java codes, so it was more about that I have done this before sometime in a project or something, so I'm able to implement it. So here I mean to say the experiences with project. The very first thing is you take up some capstone projects, some mini projects, what you call it, or like if you are developing a big project, work on projects. Your projects are very important. Secondly, connect with community. Don't just sit upon a one particular book or solution, because if one subject, for example, if you're reading microprocessors, I know the subject is really dry and you just cannot grasp the whole 8085 or 8086 diagram, right? So you need to develop some kind of liking towards it. How can it be developed? When you will hold that microprocessor in your hand, when you will start to think how was it developed at that point of time when there was no internet or not much of technical advancement. When you will be curious, you will start learning. Again, yeah, microprocessors. Now that's just one simple example. It's not just about microprocessors, and we all somewhere down the line are technical people now. So there are different facets nowadays. Many of us are inclined towards cloud development, right? Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud platform. So for such kind of things, try to attend live conferences. Like, there are webinars, there are so many sessions at Google's office, Microsoft's office and all. This is one way to do. For your academics, especially, like if you want to do for those 6 subjects that you have to study regularly, keep a habit of writing. My thing has always worked with writing, because writing really helps me to remember, okay, I had written this sometime. It's okay. I think your papers are also written right now, right? It's not tech, like purely typing papers. It's writing papers, right? Writing with the hands.
Yes, sir. They are
Yes.
written papers.
You have written papers. That's good, because nowadays it is said that the whole life was like busy with like enhancing our writing, and now we are just typing. So that's not the case with you guys. That's better. But like that's how you can actually excel. And best part is, when you are reading, try to like be a little away from disturbances, because when I have to read something very carefully, I will try to keep my phone aside. It won't be near me. It will be a little far from me, so that I won't get distracted. And read in good light. The problem right now for us is we are just reading on these screens, and these screens sometimes are like taking a lot of toll on our mental health and stuff. Instead, read on natural light. So my thing was, I used to study on my terrace. I used to just sit there, take a chair, sit and read the book. Try to read more and more in the natural light, rather than just reading onto some like screen light or something. These small things. Take good sleep. That is important. That is also one important aspect to take towards academic scoring. Again, listen to like YouTube lectures. Not all YouTube lectures, but very precisely. If you are not sure about some concept. Now, for example, if you want to know something about the registers in microprocessors, for example, and you are not able to remember some what you say, chronological order or something, you could probably listen to it. Sometimes you can read the whole answer yourself, record it and listen to it again if it is very complex or tricky. Again, if you want to like really revise it, you remember we used to have those mind games, memory games, where we used to see everything at the first, then we close the book and we just write whatever we remember. This can also be done. So such kind of tools and tech, of course, everybody has their unique approach towards learning, but for me it has always been writing. Yeah, mind mapping tools, correct. So when you have those mind mapping tools near you, so my notes generally are like, just I'll draw a flow chart, and those flow charts will really like help me to understand, okay, this starts with this, then it goes here and there and there. If you remember, in our 10th standards we had this periodic table, right? You
Yes,
remember?
sir.
Yeah. So at that point I had memorized the whole table with a musical kind of node. So it was just like Lena K, CASR, bromine, chlorine, bromine, something at that point. But I don't remember it now. But at that point it really worked, right? And you must have also come across so many techniques, like you name it with some sentence. You put in like Ca can be calcium. Instead of naming it calcium, you could name it some other word or something. So whatever works for you, however you can remember, but precisely it should also be like easy to decode it. It should not be like you are only encoding it and you're not able to decrypt it. If you are failing in decrypting it, don't do it. Okay, the simple answer here would be write, memorize, create mind maps and study. That will work.
Sure, sir. That explains your excellence in the academics. And now we'll move on to our next question. So, can you share a memorable experience from your corporate and technical training programs for the government of Maharashtra? And what were the key takeaways or lessons learned from this experience?
Okay, so this government of Maharashtra thing happened, I think into 21, 22, 2021 and 22, where one of my friends, where I was working on a project, So this person came to visit him, and he saw me. He had got a new iPhone. So this person was very curious about exploring the features, but he was not sure how to do it. So I helped him, and he was really like, okay, I'll take your number, and probably sometime in future, if I need, I'll contact you. Now this guy who took my number, who got this iPhone and who took my number, wasn't. I also gave him my number and I forgot. Okay. I think 3-4 months down the line, he gives me a call and he says, "Oh, we had met at that point, and I work for the government of Maharashtra, and I really have such kind of a thing that we have got 20 tablets for our department, and we are not able to use those. And those tablets are, one tablet cost 1,20,000 oddly. It was Microsoft Surface Pro or something. Now they have got this new tech. They have the best of the resource in their hand, but they're not able to use it. This was a challenge which I found. So I went there, I met them, I met the officials, and they said, okay, so we have installed the basic Windows and all, but we want to run this, we want to do our operations effectively on this. How can we do it? Now, Surface Pro has a very thin kind of a body, and you cannot, you can insert only one pen drive. You don't have mouse and stuff, you have touchscreen and stuff, right? So, and these guys are very familiar.
Yes, it is very delicate.
Yeah, it is very delicate. And these guys are very used to those old desktop machines, right? So the transformation, you see the level of transformation was immense, but they were ready. So then we started with like, let's do a training program for all the government employees in those departments. So then firstly, we did it at KJ Somaya College. They had this auditorium there, and it was yearly, once a year, they do this kind of training programs for different departments. How we do it, annual revision, something of that sort. So I got a chance there to like help them with technical skills. Like they were very curious to learn how to use Zoom, Google Meet and stuff. They had their Gmail account, but they did not know how to use it. You see, and these people are in the departments for like 15 years, 20 years down the line, very experienced into their particular work, but there was a little gap in terms of technical learning. Why? Because mostly what they used was AutoCAD, or probably those tools which are into like graphics and stuff, which actually help them to design their land maps and stuff. Again, the second thing, now I'll give you a very good example. So when we were in this one of the meetings, the one person who was a printer, who used to print regularly the documents, gave me a very good problem. He's like, "Sir, sometimes when I print it, the map does not have a A4 size. First of all, map sometimes is very big, so we have to open it onto different pages and do it like that. And sometimes the map is like in a horizontal way, it is in a vertical way. How should I do it?" So then we started, we like somehow helped them with some tool, or I think I helped them with some way to like copy it into one particular format and then print it. It really worked for them. So it was not even a big challenge, but for them it was, because they did not even think that this is possible with such and such tool, right? It was very simple. I had to just take it to Microsoft Word and put it into some format and give it to him. He had to just scan it, print it as a PDF. That's it. It worked out. But you and I can understand this because we are aware of these tools. They know their work very well, but they're not aware of these tools, and there's the gap. That's where this training programs came into picture, and then consistently for our Bandra, then Mumbai and Thane verticals, I got a chance to like conduct these trainings regularly. That's how the whole thing went. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So from taking a number, and I think it went down really well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here you go. So this was our story, and probably. So this was in short how we had started, and the last clip which you saw was actually about how we had started on day zero. That was my birthday in 2019. So we are just nearing towards our fifth startup anniversary, and that's how the thing is. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I've seen a lot of happy faces in this video, and I think it was a really great session, and you worked really hard for this.
Thank you.
Sure, sir. So now we'll be moving on to our next question.
Sure.
With your background in technology and innovation, how do you see the future of technology evolving, and what areas do you think will be the most influential in the upcoming years?
Yeah, so technology is constantly evolving, that is for sure. All of us know that. And I personally have gone through a lot of emerging technologies these days because I was looking for a topic for my doctorate. So, anyways, like the research area, I'm trying to still like figure out how can we fill in those gaps, because AI is something that is gaining a lot of traction. Artificial intelligence, along with that, machine learning, it comes into hand into hand. If you go deeper, like if you really want to talk about emerging technologies, then there is augmented reality, virtual reality. So a very good example, if you're using iOS devices, you would find that when you just do like this, it gives you a thumbs up on the FaceTime. Or if you do something like this, it gives you a whole background with firecrackers and all. So augmented reality, this is catching a lot of traction. Augmented reality, where in your realities of, if I have to name, have you heard of the game Pokemon Go? So Pokemon Go is one good example of how in the real world, in the real spectrum, you see some animated characters or some virtual characters. So this thing is really catching a lot of traction. Firstly, now how is it used in the industry side? So for example, companies which are into e-commerce, they want you to, like, you want to buy a product, but you don't know how it will look on you, right? So you just upload your photograph, and it will automatically like scan your face and show how the dress will look upon you. So this is one very good application which I see into the e-commerce spectrum, where such kind of tool is being used. With augmented reality, artificial intelligence, there is also cloud and big data that is gaining supreme traction, because data is generated every microsecond, and you see data is the new oil. Right from your decisions to how you will think, everything is driven by data. So it is very important to like also see into these sections. Data science again is very important, because how will you analyze the data and like make meaningful decisions? That's one very good area to work upon. um, if I have to also talk about the other aspects, not just into tech, but which are aligned with tech, then digital marketing is also catching a lot of traction, because digitally nowadays many brands are relying upon going completely digital rather than the print advertisements or the print material, because it is saving a lot of cost. Secondly, you have better analytics, because in print you don't know who is reading and how is it reaching to the end user, but in digital you can even track whether that person is really visiting our website or not. So that is beautiful with digital tech. Medtech is like again supreme. Medical tech, like right now we have these Aadhaar numbers. Similarly, we are soon about to have some health numbers, health card numbers, with which we can really get all our background patient data. Like if we are a patient, we'll have this particular health number, just like our Aadhaar number, and the doctor will be able to assess what all medicines or what all medications you have gone through till date, so that he could give you better prescriptions and all. Medtech is good. Edtech is good. Of course, edtech, we have seen so many humongous things that have come up since COVID, during COVID, and now I feel like every college and school has thought of, at least given a thought, that we should go digital, because it is very easy to share files and do a lot of stuff. Whichever college has been able to do it, they have already given their students all those education email IDs and IT infrastructure, which could really help in the education sector. And again, companies are taking, like tech companies specifically, are giving a lot of grants to students. So if you really want to access some digital libraries and stuff, then if you enter that email ID, student email ID, you get it at subsidized rates and stuff. So healthcare and education are two sectors which are like supremely benefiting from the advancements in tech. Again, other sectors also, right? Like if you talk about the corporate spectrum also has so many facets to it, like right from project management to agile and scrum to like different kinds of methodologies like Kaizen, Six Sigma, 5S and on stuff. Everything is getting enhanced because of tech, and it is easier to track with tech. Initially it was about hunch, or it was just about the belief or just the trust on that particular person, but nowadays it is that you will have to really work upon, and you will have to show the results. Like right now I've seen so many companies implementing HR tools where you even have to click a photograph when you reach the office, and you have to again click a photograph when you're leaving the office, just to mark your attendance. Again, one of the offices which I visited recently, so you don't have to do anything, you just have to walk from there, it will scan and it will automatically mark your attendance. So such kind of tools have come up. Again, if you are not active on the laptop, for instance, you are working on an office device and it is not being used for any work, it automatically deduct that time when it was not being used. So such kind of tools have also come up. So the scope is immense, and how we will use it for our benefit, that is a question that remains on us. I feel like if we really make good use of it, I think I have shown you some examples how you can do it, right from podcasting to publishing your own book to designing your own creative stuff to editing to like creating a brand of your own. A lot is possible. The only thing is you should be ready to do it, and I believe me, it's not an easy journey. You have to be very, very perseverant. You have to listen to a lot of feedback. But I'm saying, like, I was also one amongst you. I was an attendee most of the times, but since then, when I started implementing those ideas, don't just keep your ideas to yourself in your mind, because in your mind it will come and it will just vanish. Out of those 100 ideas, even if you manage to finish 5 ideas, it's superb. It is doable. It is possible. Trust yourself, put your efforts. Probably some can be short-term ideas, some can be long-term ideas, but keep working on your vision, and that is all possible if you are dedicated to it, if you are disciplined towards it. So get started towards it. Yeah, Sanket.
Sure, sir. That was a really great aspect that you have shared here. So now moving on to our next question.
Sure.
So can you share any upcoming projects or initiatives that you're currently working on, and that can like help our audience, and audience should be get excited about it?
Yeah, so right now the next target which I am working upon is making open source accessible to everyone, right? The book is good, but and I also tried to do it with YouTube, because YouTube is something that everybody accesses. So there are around 25 sessions oddly where I teach how to use open source. Now I have to integrate it with modern tech. The attempt that I'm trying to make is to help it to rural areas and help them with such tech where they can really like learn, they can ideate. Just imagine if, Sanket, today I come up and give you 10 free tools, 10 such tools which are having all the capabilities of paid tools, and you are able to access it. I bet on you, if you even use one tool completely, if you learn one tool completely, don't consider the rest of the 9, but if you even learn one tool completely, you attain the skill of utilizing that tool in any manner, you can have humongous opportunities. That's what I'm trying
Sure,
to say.
sir. If you master at least like one tool out of them,
Yes.
I think I can get a very great job in an MNC also.
Exactly. And not just the job, but even you can take a freelancing projects. So many
Sure,
students,
sir.
whenever I interact with like young freshers and all, they're like, sir, how should we start? Or probably, can I take I want to do something of my own, but I don't know what to do. This is a very primary question that comes up. Start learning a skill. Try developing a skill. Probably you will have to put your bets on 4 or 5 skills at the start. You will have to try everything. As I said, I started with music, I started with editing, I started with so many stuff. But now ultimately I'm able to blend my editing skills with my music skills while creating such kind of videos in a corporate fashion, for example. So you can also do something like this. Probably you'll have to just see what are the intersection points where you can bring all your skills together, and how can you shine. If you are able to do it, then superb. Then really, like, then cracking that formula is very important. It is your formula. I can probably suggest you ways to do it, but each one of you who are present here, you have to crack your own formula of reaching towards that goal, reaching towards the success that you define. For me, my success definitions are quite different than the rest. For me, it was never like I wanted to work for myself, but it was always about learning from others. It was not just that I will only do everything by myself. Initially, when I started, I felt like I can do everything. I'll do everything, right from development to designing to marketing to every stuff. But after a point, you realize that if you dedicate your time into every small activity, you won't be able to focus on the main goal. You won't be able to reach to your main goal. So at that point, distribution of work is very important. Delegation of work, what we call in the corporate line. So it is very important to like delegate your work to someone. And of course that you like, I have heard this so many times that if you have smart people with you, you shouldn't be the one to guide them. Smart people are smart enough to do their work on their own. So trust them, let them do their work, you do your work and attain the goals as planned and expected. So that's the philosophy, like I'd say. And if you have to talk about like how could we like do so many things at once, or probably, so this journey which you see in the video or something, it's not just a journey in a single day. It's not something what we see in movies and stuff. It is a realistic journey. It takes time to build. Probably in movies we see promotions come up like after a month or so, and we see actors and actresses saying that, oh, I got promoted and stuff, but that's not the reality. You have to be outstanding, know your niche. That's what I could say. And to reach that niche, you'll have to try everything that you think is possible. If you, for example, Sanket, you feel you are good with programming and you know 2-3 languages, try your work with every language. Then see the market, try to analyze on LinkedIn or other platforms whether will I be able to really survive in this market for the next 20 years down the line, 10 years down the line. Only then, only when you will assess for yourself and when you are comfortable. Right now, when we see these fresher resumes, sometimes when I sit for the hiring interviews, I see freshers put 10 different languages, like then like so many skills and stuff. It's just like taking up like little from every language, and when you ask them something in detail about that language, they're numb. So that shouldn't be the case. You become a master of something. If you want to go into artificial intelligence, study Python from scratch, study all its frameworks, Django, Flask, Bottle. If you want to go for PHP, go for Laravel Code Igniter in detail, not just from the top, just the outline. For interview, you will survive. I bet on you. You can probably fool the HR also at a point. Sometimes when HRs are in need, they also know you're fooling, but still they will pretend, okay, for now I have to fill in this position, I'll take this person in. Later, how will you survive in the job? And we just read about layoffs and we just think, oh, okay, like layoffs are happening, so many layoffs are happening. Most of the times it is like your skills or performance is being assessed, and when you are not found performing according to the expected desired results, then you are in that layoffs category. Most of the times, I'm not saying every time, because sometimes it is also bad company decisions and a lot of factors, but most of the times, why will I remove Sanket if he is performing? Simple. That's the thing. Think as a founder. I have invested so much of time, probably I have put in cost into hiring you, so why will I remove you? Until and unless it is a bad company decision, or else your performance is not up to the mark. So that's where your skills and abilities will matter. So niche down, like reach out to your skill, give a try to whatever possibilities you feel are possible, and keep learning constantly. Yeah, Sanket.
Sure, sir. So moving on to our last question.
Sure.
As a podcaster, could you tell us about the most fascinating or enlightening conversation you have had on your podcast and what you personally gained from that discussion?
So enlightening podcast, I think it's with my partner, it's Achal. So we did this on our book itself, that's Let's Make IT Simple, and we like this while recording for these podcasts. So the journey was very beautiful. We thought of doing this since like when we did it initially, we thought of doing it like since last so many months, but we were not able to do it. One fine evening we had a meeting with one of our professors, and because of some reason professor couldn't join in. So we were anyways on the call. We had set our calendars like that we had time now. So we said, let's do this podcast series which we are planning from so many months and stuff. We started recording it. So we started a Zoom call, we started to like record it, and like for 4 or 5 hours down the line we just spoke to each other. And after that, like she also has written a book and I have written a couple of books, so we thought of like doing two episodes each. For her book, one in Hindi, one in English, and for mine it was one episode each. We recorded the whole thing from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning, and this happened in February, probably on 24th of February this year. And we did this, and for the rest of the 6 days I was like just analyzing what we have recorded, is it really useful? So when I cut it down and like took it into 4 different episodes, in the month of March we published 4 episodes on this books and all stuff, and it really worked out. Like the same thing is available on podcast, where you could find now how you are asking me questions about my entrepreneurial journey, similarly we asked each other questions about our content journey, our author, our, what do you say, transition from a regular reader to an author. So that's the podcast about, and this podcast is under the same name, that is Decoding Zindagi and Let's Make IT Simple. If you just go to any of the platforms like Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, or any popular platform, you would find podcasts around both my books, or probably her book, that is Seeking Validation. So that's how the podcast journey was also interesting. And when I gave up this podcast, it was really like, initially I was not sure how good I will sound, but later when we heard ourselves on putting it on different devices like mobile phone or laptop or television, then we realized, okay, this is sounding good and this can go out. So firstly, initially when you are into music, and the stage experience is different, but when you come to a room where you have to record something, it is a completely different experience. So that's how the thing was, but it really worked out. And yes, the experiments are still on, trying to do something more with every passing moment.
Sure, sir. That was a really compelling answer. And now we will have a Q&A session for the audience,
Sure.
so that audience are very eager to ask you some questions. So I hope that audience will share their questions in the chat box.
Yeah. So I have put a WhatsApp group link in the chat where I probably keep on sharing a lot of resources and stuff. So just stay connected, and it will really like help to each
Sure,
other, help
sir.
each other, of course. Like, and whenever there are some events or something, I pass on information. If you want to attend, I have passes and stuff, so that can really help.
What strategies have you found effective in acquiring and retaining customers in the early stages of your startup?
Yeah, so like initially when we started, it was always about like the clients are always thirsty. That's the philosophy. Like clients always need more and more. Even if you give them something that you know is much, still they will be like, I want a little more. So that is the thought with clients. So firstly you will have to like, what is the strategy, like what strategy have you found effective? So initially we used to do it like we will just develop a website, and the clients mostly used to be like, no, not just a website, we also need someone for our creatives, then we also need someone for our automation like sending mails and all, then we also need someone for our content. So here the thing was, then we had to like somehow think like Amazon, where you add all your requirements into a cart. For example, like you need website, you need content, you need photo, like what you say, product photography, for example. So you put all your things into bucket and we will give a customized planning. So initially what we used to give, we used to directly quote, okay, you need a website, so and so is the quote. But because of that we lost some deals. And later when we like analyzed why is this happening constantly, so we then decided of doing it in a customized manner. So the customized format was like this. So for example, if Sanket is the client, I'll go to Sanket or probably connect with Sanket. I will understand all his requirements, I will note down everything, then I will discuss it with my team, then we'll see how feasible is it to give it into so and so budget. And if that budget and the client's expectations are really meeting up, then we go to the client and give him a customized plan, that okay, for your requirements this is all what we can do, and this can be the quotation. For you, probably again, clients are very curious about discounts, they need discounts. Indian clients, if you really are targeting, then you need to show them that you are giving them discounts. And of course you can, if it is really feasible, you can give them discounts. So with discounts and stuff also, again, like they're really attracted. So I had one of my instances where this guy, he had budgets, but he was like, I still need some discount. I consider me your friend, give me some discount, consider me. So don't as we say, like your client is like someone who is really like, who wants more and more out of you. So you give him that yeah, okay, I'm giving you the best, don't worry. So sometimes again, about retaining customers, as your question is very precise about retaining customers. So try, if you have to really get repeat business from the same client, it is very important that you and your client have a good relationship. It should not just be like, okay, now I have done your project, I don't know you at all. Because no one likes that. Tomorrow if Sanket reaches out to me, if I have created his website and after 6 months down the line he comes to me and says, Shubham, I want to like update some photographs on the website in the gallery section, I can probably guide him, or I have to take care of him because I have promised him 1 year service period, for example. If I'm not responding to him at all, if I become ghost for him, then Sanket will just fire a lot of bad words towards me. Sorry Sanket, don't take it personally, but I'm trying to say that he won't be satisfied. He'll be like, next time I'll not work with this person. So it is very important to maintain that kind of bond, that relationship with all your clients. and of course like you can define some time period towards it so that on both ends it is fine. That's about maintaining and retaining a startup. Then second is Ria asks, what is your approach to company culture and team building, and how do you ensure team remains motivated and aligned with the mission? So Ria, for me, the journey was reversed. Like initially when we started, I had my juniors with me. So when who all you saw in my team, most of them are my juniors. I could not find many of my batchmates interested into what I was trying to do. So I found my juniors who were interested in doing something. So my co-founder happens to be my junior Jatin. Again, Akhilesh and Shivam and Vikas. So many people around. So Vikas and Shivam were from my same batch, but rest 5 of them were from my junior, like who were a year smaller than me. So here all of us started to like firstly understand what are our targets. So every one of us were from diverse backgrounds, so we knew that not every one of us will survive till the end. Okay, someone was good with development, someone was good with designing, someone was good with speaking, public speaking, someone was good with creating presentations and stuff. But our thing was we at least have to try something with a name. Like as I see, like right now your name is IEEE, right? SIESGST IEEE. So similarly, we at that point we realized that we also need a name, because without a brand name or something, if we just do it on our own name, it's not gonna work. Probably it will be just like showing off for some time, but later it won't work. So we always thought like we are like bonded with each other for some particular mission. So for example, for me it was always like Jatin is the best like creative guy that we have. So wherever I see creative projects coming up, I should push Jatin's services. Or when Jatin saw that okay, there is something that comes towards public speaking or training and development, Jatin used to like give my reference, or Akhilesh used to give my reference. Akhilesh is good with something else, then digital marketing for example, then I give him digital marketing. So it's not just about promoting yourself or probably helping your own self to excel, but actually your team members to excel. So that's how our culture at Delta has been, like at DTI, because the initial journey when we started, the name was only Delta, but Delta had to be tweaked because of copyright infringement challenges. Delta is a very common name, right? Alpha, Tango, Charlie, Delta. So we had to make it Delta the Innovators. The Innovators was initially the tagline, but Delta the Innovators, that's how the name came in. So a lot of people, and again our mission and vision also says is on the similar lines, that we are innovators who regularly work hard and smart to create an alchemy of marvelous products, operational excellence, and pioneering customer services by empowering talents with eternal opportunities to discover their best right from the nascent stages. So from the initial stage we start, and then like we go towards different aspects. We believe in simplifying things by gaining all sorts of challenging experiences and by coming up with quality results that will benefit the world. So this is like, anyways, I had coined it, so I remember it very well. But the idea that I have to pitch here is that you and your team members should feel that I have to do something, even if I have to go an extra mile. So this thing which we started, it started in our college campus itself, and most of the times like it was late nights, like 10 p.m. in the night, we are still working. That's how the journey was. It was never about like reaching home and taking the sleep with a comfort, but actually staying awake and making your dreams a reality. So that's the thing, and that has aligned with our mission. I think that's what motivates our team, because the word team itself says together everyone achieves more. TEAM, together everyone achieves more. So that's about it. Then Vidyut says, how do you manage work-life balance as an entrepreneur, and what advice do you have for others in similar situations? So Vidyut, first of all, entrepreneurship is something that will say that you have to be active 24/7. Work-life balance, you will have to set your paradigms. Now, I have seen some of my friends who are like business owners who have their businesses since last 10 years down the line. And these guys are active. Like I have one of my friend who is into this security cameras and services. Now this friend of mine, he is even active on Sundays. Even if like his client or his customer calls him on a Sunday and he says that, oh, my camera systems are not functioning well or something, he will ensure that he will manage time in his whole schedule and he will go there and do it. But in your case, if it is not some such a thing which is not much concerning, or probably it can be taken a day ahead or two, then try to set your dim. For me, it is generally like initial like at the very beginning, I was very health conscious, but ahead in time with bad food habits and all, I lost my control over my fitness. Currently, I'm again gaining my fitness, so I think I look a little fit now compared to my previous versions. But this thing about managing your health, managing your sleep, because of this entrepreneurship and something, it will sometimes be like, I have to do this today itself. That's the spirit that you get when you are truly into that entrepreneurial spirit. And at that point, of course it is at some in some years when you're just building it, you're very like put 100%, no, I'll say 200% into that particular mission. You sacrifice your sleep for weeks. So that was our case. But later, like now, when we are at some stable point, we feel that okay, now I should sort out my work life balance. So I think Vidyut, for you, initial years, like a couple of years, will be difficult. But once you are used to such kind of environment, once you are like aligned with such kind of what you say, mission that you target to solve, or the problem that you target to solve, then of course, like, you can set it towards good sleep. And now my mantra is more towards get good rest, probably go out in the sun, probably then again meet people. Meeting people is also very good. Like Monday to Friday, I generally like work on my laptop, or probably just continuously connect with only my teammates. But on Saturdays, I try to meet new people. Again today, when like Persis reached out to me saying that on Wednesday we have to do this, I've aligned my schedule such that I am getting to meet more 50 people. Today I see there were 50 people at the start, right? So I'm meeting 40-50 people today. The idea is not to like always like be a speaker, but also an attendee would do. But I'm able to learn from 50 people. That is, today it's not just your learning, but also a learning journey for me, because I am meeting and I'm understanding, okay, these guys have these kind of questions, so probably I can work upon my skills, and probably next time when I connect with them, I can help them with this. From those 40-42 which are present right now, if some of you are at least like inspired to do something on your own, that is my victory. So the attempt is to meet at least 100 people in a month. 100 people, either via online or offline mode, in a month. That's it. Rest, everything like continues. So I, as far as I remember my association with SIES, so I think this is my 5th or 6th event with SIES, because initially for the very first time I had done this project competition judgment for you. Like I was a judge at your project competition, then at Innovations, and now the journey is still continuing. So once you are into that kind of a flow, you get to like interact with people, and people are someone who will vouch for you. So it won't be like you will have to go to people every time. Sometimes you won't even know, but some via contact you will get a call and like, can you do this, and we will do it. So magic happens. Like I just want to say that magic happens. You really have to like just get it done. You just have to be open to it. So that's what, Vidyut, I wanted to ask about work-life balance. Then Rishabh Shetty says, how do you approach failure and setbacks in your startup? So see, startup, or like, have you tried to start a bike after like keeping it inactive for 20-30 days? It does not start easily, right? If you keep it inactive for like some time, it does not start. Starting up is like the initial gear or some shift that you make in the vehicle. And when it starts, at the very beginning, it makes a loud noise, and then it settles down, right? So that's how failures are. That's what I feel. Initially, it failures come up and you shout aloud, you give out your anger and stuff. Setbacks are like supposed to happen. So when like for us, sometimes people ask, why are we not raising funds? We are a bootstrap company. We did not raise funds, and we currently have like focused on other aspects. Like rather than doing taking the normal startup route, we are trying to like get it registered under trademark, then get it all the rest of the things done, and probably work on such projects which really require less manpower. So that has been our approach. But setbacks and failures, of course, like I will give you one very good example. After our engineering, in our engineering days, it was fun because we all used to meet regularly. But after our engineering times, some of my team members went for higher education abroad. A couple of my friends left because they wanted to go for a full-time job. So at that point, I was like, oh my God, we built this for like 1.5 years, and then COVID came in and team scattered. This was a setback. But that did not really like take out my entrepreneurial spirit. Of course, we were a little behind than what we were trying to do. But now today, still when we connect with each other, it's like, okay, yeah, at that times we started this and still it is surviving. So, so whenever we have this Delta's annual anniversary video which we release, at that point I at least make a attempt to like talk to every person who was with us since last 4 or 5 years down the line. And this really helps in understanding, okay, at that point we did this, then today we should do even better than what we could do at that point of time. So that's the motivation that comes up internally every time when you see your own journey and you read your own story. So that's about it. Sanket, you want to say something? I think there are two questions.
Yes, sir. In a competitive market, how do you differentiate your startup from the others?
Yeah. So like at the beginning also I said this. We try to do everything at the start. When we were in our engineering times, we thought like we can do websites, we can do marketing, we can do sales, everything. We thought we are one stop solution. That's what generally we hear so many companies saying, we are a one stop solution. So we realized that after a point, everybody is designing websites. Like in our own batch, we found like 5 or 6 different people who are good with websites. Not my team, but other teams, like other batchmates and stuff. They are good at designing websites. They can develop in React, Node, or you say any other tech, Vue.js and stuff. So our space is very competitive. Then I came to this open source spectrum, and I realized, okay, here there are very limited people, firstly, and training and development is very important, because that is a gap that I feel should be solved. That is a challenge, that is a challenge that can be solved. Not just open source, but also many a times our proprietary tools, or like premium tools, or when you say complex tools or something like AutoCAD or Maya and stuff. So how to use these tools is also a challenge for so many people. So then we niched it down towards training and development. So if you see our journey, it is more towards training and development than IT services and consulting. So at the beginning it was everything, like we wanted to do everything, but with time we realized we cannot do everything. We'll have to be very specific in terms of our deliverables, and in our deliverables also our addition is open source, our addition is free softwares, because this thing is very limited and everybody is just running behind trending topics. But there is something that is fundamentally strong, that is open source, that is free softwares. Then why not stick to it? So that's how we differentiate from the rest of the other competitors, you say, or other partners. Yeah. Sanket?
Sure, sir. And Naneshwar is saying that you should have at least one or two webinars per month. I think
Okay.
you should agree with this.
All right, guys. No, I would suggest that we not just me, but we there are other people also, and I happen to do a lot of events with my friends also, not under just Delta, but also other organizations. So if you are really like trying to do something of your own or want to learn more, not just me, but there are also more incredible people who I can connect you with. So probably you can just join that WhatsApp group, and I can pass on the links whenever there are such events. So with this, Sanket,
Sure,
I think
sir.
I gave you whatever we had. Of course, you guys can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think I will just share the link in the chat. Here you would find a lot of content around open source and free softwares. So I have just shared the link in my chat. Just subscribe to it and like probably watch the videos, because there are I have taken these efforts like to record everything, right from sharing the screen to how to use those tools and stuff. So probably that can really help you. And of course the most updated version of all those lectures is the book Let's Make IT Simple, and there are podcasts around it. There is ebook and all available, so you can check it. Again, my LinkedIn profile is here in case you want to connect. So let's stay connected. Give your ideas a chance to like really be tried out, and if some of the ideas really work out, then it will really like help the community. That's about it. Thank you, Ria.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So now we'll present you with the token of gratitude from our side.
Sure.
So this will be a sure, sir. So now concluding the session, the
Sure.
power of creativity and resiliency was demonstrated in our session with Shubham sir. Their path, which connected technology, literature, and world records, is proof that learning should never stop. Let's continue their inspirational motto: either we win or we learn, but the show must go on efficiently. So, as we come to an end, I'm grateful that you could attend this insightful program, and it was a really interactive session, sir. And thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you, Sanket. And I would request, like, for a minute, if you can just stop the screen and take everyone on a camera, we can have a group photograph. Because generally, when we have it in the offline mode, we have a habit of clicking group photograph. But today we are in the online setting, so let's do it in an online format.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. It's a
Sure, sir.
wonderful
Sure, sir. I'm
session.
doing it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
you are a very good speaker.
Thank you, sir.
So I think our that maybe more time you are able you can come to even a SIES also.
Surely, surely. I even asked Persis, the coordinator here, to
Yeah.
try if we can try a offline session, because offline generally is like really even better, where we could try hands-on exercises or something. So yeah,
But
definitely.
the problem for this week is okay that the almost the end of the semester.
Yeah, sir.
So
Yeah,
the submission, exams, many things are going on.
correct.
So
And
we are not able to manage our offline session.
that's all right, sir. That's all right. Next time, sometime soon in future, and that's why I suggested let's try to do it a little early, because then Navratri is also on, and people generally are like trying to go out for to play, right?
Yes.
So, but it was a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much for hosting me. Thank you, everyone, and it was fun.
And it was really a wonderful session. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
also thank you to the audience for being very attentive and asking questions, asking doubts to the sir. It was really an interactive session.
Thank you very much.
And one more thing for the audience, please don't leave the meeting yet. You have to like give a positive feedback, positive feedback, and we'll be sharing the link in our. Please share your valuable feedback so that we can improve our sessions in the future. And we hope that you all guys have enjoyed the session. Thank you very much.
Yes, guys, please share your valuable feedback. It will really help. And Sanket, if possible, to also let me know what were the feedbacks. Like, just like to glare, how can I improve on my side? Thank you.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. We'll conduct it too.
All right, then I will drop off. Will that be fine?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. And guys, I'll just pass on the links once again in case you have missed it. So let's stay connected. And on the YouTube channel, you can find a lot much of content around open source and all. Try to go through open source. Probably it will help you in your final year projects also. Yeah. Thank you, Harmeet. Thank you very much. See you. Bye bye. Have a nice evening.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.